Welcome to the bonus episode of Outstanding Women Leaders with Martha Aviles. Did I say that right?
Avilas. It's okay. No worries.
Martha and I are just talking about human design, my favorite thing in the world to talk about. And she is a 2-4 generator, and she just sent me her chart. When did you find human design? Tell me your human design story.
I was speaking to a woman, I want to say it was 2021, and Rhea actually connected us. She was like, she's Thai, she's a woman of color, she's a badass, you got to talk to her. And this woman's like, have you ever heard of human design? And I said, no. And we chatted about it a little bit, and I found it pretty fascinating. And so then I did my test, quiz, whatever you want to call it, where you get your chart and all your things. And then sort of like that saliency bias, it's been popping up in my life more and more. And then I've been following people on Instagram. And like I said, I don't know that much about it, but I know everything that is posted about generators seems to really, really apply to me. Like it seems to be spot on. So
I'm a 5-1 and also generator. But you're an emotional, where I'm a sacral. So your authority, your inner authority is emotional, which means that your solar plexus is defined. What's also interesting, so 2-4s and 5-1s are attracted to each other. 2-4 profiles don't see themselves particularly well. And so having someone else there to see what they can't see. So the 2 line is a hermit and the 4 line is a people person.
That is fascinating. And okay, makes a lot of sense.
You are a dichotomy of a person, right? Society says you can't be one or the other. Myers-Briggs says you have to be an E or an I. You can't be either one. You're conscious to your 2 lines. So you're conscious to your hermitude. Your unconscious is your social butterfly. So the 2 is a natural. Your brand in the world is passion. You're naturally just good at things without really quite knowing how you got good at them. And your 4 line is if you think of a house, the 2nd line is sitting behind the window. The 1 line is the foundation. And you're sitting behind the window, the lights are on, everyone wants to talk to you, and you're like, meh, I'll just sit here and look out the window. The 4th line is the foundation of the 2nd floor of the house. So you are a foundation of humans. I'm a foundation of knowledge and research. The 4 line works really well when it deepens the relationships it already has around it. And that's what you're naturally gifted at. Whatever you want, someone will bring it to your door, perhaps through another person, like Rhea connecting you to the people, right? And when you show up and you operate in that way, like ease is just, you magnetically attract, it just becomes much easier. So your emotional authority, though, means that you don't make decisions in highs and lows. If you're excited about something, that's your cue that you're not making a decision. If you're bummed or depressed, that's your cue also that you're not making a decision. And your 2 line, your hermitude is where your natural genius comes out. And then you go out and you share it with people.
It feels like you've known me for a really long time, Katie. Like people don't believe that I'm a hermit because you're like, you're so personable, you're so this. I'm like, I have 160 plants in my house just because that's how much I like people. You know what I mean? Like I like, and when I'm gardening, that's when I come up with my best ideas. Like when my hands are in the dirt, that's the way it has to be.
And so you're familiar with that. And the other fun part about your personality is, so we have your sun and your earth make up 70% of your personality in the world. So ours are flip-flop. So that's super fun. What grounds you is my sunny personality, and your sunny personality is what grounds me. So the 17, 18 are those numbers. And then the color of your picture is a 2. Mine's a 5. So it looks different. So even though we may have that in common, where our gifts are farsightedness and all-knowing, and our gift is integrity and perfection, both of those shadows include judgment and opinion. Can't have integrity and perfection without judgment.
That's fair.
You can't be farsighted without sampling all of the opinions. That's actually why I love this podcast. But your 2 line looks different than mine. Mine's a 5 line. So the 5th line, when we think there's 6 lines total, the 6th line sits at the top and sees the future. And the fifth line is right below that. So we have wisdom, we have solutions, and the 4 line is right below us. So if you believe in me, then that's good. You can go tell all the people. But the 4 line often will look to the 6th line for reassurance. The 6th line is seen as very wise. So those people that we just meet that we feel are incredibly, just whatever your recommendation is, I'm taking it.
Like a sage. Yes.
Those are our 6th line folks. And so when the 4 line folks and the 6th line folks agree with a 5th line, like we kind of universalize things together. And that 3rd line is tinkering and finding the mutations and challenging the status quo. And you as a 2 line are, think of a dancer, just think of the flow and passion that comes from, as long as you lead with passion, that's your brand, that you'll shine in that.
That's really cool. How did you get it? You tell me your human design story, because I feel like you have a lot more knowledge than I do. I'm telling you, I've dabbled in it now.
So my first the 5-1. So my first unconscious line, I have a degree in history, makes sense. I love to research. We're investigators. So I was going to coaching school. January of 2020, launched my second business, so OWL Professional Coaching, and was going through a year-long program. And that's when you have to sample all the things. I was getting all the opinions. I went to positive intelligence. I went to this thing. I don't remember how I landed on human design. I just remember the client I was searching for information for. And it resonated. And then I didn't see it again. I had a girl interrupted moment in pandemic and was reintroduced in this positive intelligence class that I was taking. A woman mentioned it and I said, oh my gosh, I did that, and ended up doing a blueprint with Erin Claire Jones because she had done a blueprint with Erin Claire Jones. And that woman is a 1-3. So she's conscious to her 1 line. So she was a little bit more aware of her research. And Erin Claire Jones is, she's a 6-2 projector. She's just very good at educating people. That's what she does. She's been immersed in it for a long time. Her content really resonates with a lot of people. I point clients there if they want a classic, you like to read something and want it in your hands report. I offer more of a reading of, I look at your gene keys as well. And so I offer more of a high level of, here's some things I think that you're probably struggling with. And here's some areas I think this can support you with. And then in my coaching practice, it's just really easy for, like, it's way better than anything I've ever used. If I have this, like, I know your whole life. If I pull gene keys, I know your wound at 0 to 9 months. I know your core wound from 0 to 7. I know your emotional intelligence wound. I know you're from 8 to 14. And then I know your IQ wound. And then your attraction, like, you just have all of it laid out for you. It's so much easier. It's like giving people just who they are versus trying to make up a story about who we think we might be, right? This is just mechanics. This is how you work. This is how you shine best. But you don't have to be a victim to it. So I don't have to have opinions all the time, and I don't have to go and judge things all the time, right? I don't have to be the victim to some of the, well, I have a wide open solar plexus. You have an open G center. So you live life going, what's my purpose? Who will love me? Where will I go to find love? Where will I go to find my purpose? Like, open G centers sometimes can find themselves in that place. You don't have a fixed identity. You're not here to have one. You're here to try them on and to feel them. And I'm here I love my identity, but that means I have to let it go because we're not supposed to be attached to things. But like, my open solar plexus means that when I go into a room, I feel everyone's emotions.
Right.
But it's wide open. So that means that I have this potential for this huge emotional intelligence because I don't have any definition of like default. And when I understood that, it made sense, because if you don't know that, then you walk in, you think everything is about you. You think everything you're feeling is yours, and you can write stories about it. And you're an emotional authority. So you're not feeling other people's emotions, but you can read their thoughts. You have a wide open head. And people's thoughts tend to be kind of emotional. So you might, if you're like, actually, I kind of feel empathic. Well, you're probably reading the thoughts that they're having, and you may find that you're trying to answer other people's questions instead of your own.
This is really fascinating. I love this.
You also have the channel of struggle like I do. Yay! Well, actually, the hanging gate. So that means you have cool stories because you've had some struggles.
Indeed I do. Indeed I do. Okay. Okay. See, I want someone to teach, or if there's a class on how I can read that, because I was like, I'm going to keep this, but I'll save it for later. And I started following Erin Claire Jones, but I haven't spent a lot of time on it.
Yes, to connect you to Thrive and Shine, the summer office hours. We're going through the gene keys right now. We just talked about prosperity. Your money line is in your gene key. And when I understood what my money line was, it made sense. It's the only 6th line I have. So I look at this, I'm like, this is kind of the dumbest system we've ever invented, but also we need it because that's how society works. And so my money line is everything is perfect as it is, but also we know we can progress. and I meant to thrive in partnership. And so money's always been really easy for me to make. My first business, I was never in the red, which just means I didn't learn how to struggle in that. I struggled in other parts of the business, management. That's my 5th line. But what that also shifted for me in 2020 was, oh yeah, I help other people know how to make money. That's why my business partner is still making a ton of money, like ex-business partner, right? Like I'm really great at seeing how to direct and guide that 6th line, like Erin Claire Jones. Anywhere you see a 6th line, they're great at educating. And I also have a defined head, unlike you. I'm 30% of the population only has a defined head. So I see patterns. And so what patterns are usually through words, they're through numbers. Like that's how I'm able to help people make money and see how that works. And then when you know what your money line is and how your money line is meant to work, it's easier for you to reframe and to shift into prosperity. And we just did this class yesterday, and Dana messaged me and she said, I just had 4 people reach out about human design that want to connect with me. She's like, I've never had anybody reach out, like let alone 4. Like she's out there trying to start her business from scratch. And I was like, well, the universe is laughing at you because I just had a woman that was on my podcast, 6-2 projector, where I'd shared a way to license her business to make more money. And like, she just got approved for a copyright. And she just sent me a text message today to tell me that. So I'm like, all right, I see the stars aligning. Like that kind of shift happens when you just recognize like everything that you want. You can start telling the universe what to do for you when you are understanding how the universe wants to work for you. And it sounds very kooky and woo-woo for those of listening that think it is. And well, experiment. All you do, right? You just try it. And, we can you buy a new car, you see those cars down the street. Placebo effect is the #1 thing that we can recreate. Every single study, there will always be a placebo effect. And that alone is enough reason to experiment.
Yeah. I mean, I'm probably the most woo woo in my family. And they're always like, oh my God, you're always trying stuff. And I'm like, at least I'm open-minded. That's literally what I tell them. And like, what can it hurt?
You literally are open-minded too, which is what's hilarious. You have a wide head. It's your superpower.
Yeah.
Fun. So you've got to tune in to hear this woman's story on our podcast because she has the gate of struggle, which means she's got some great stories to share. So you can hear more about Martha and her story. And Martha, tell us where we can follow you and tell us a little bit about your company and what we can expect to hear in our episode.
Yeah, of course. So my name is Martha Aviles. You can follow me on LinkedIn. I don't think there's that many Martha Avileses. I work for Gigster. I've been the VP of marketing there for 3 months now. We're a 2-sided marketplace. So one side is companies looking for help with their software development. On the other side, it's software developers. So excuse me. Sorry, I was trying to control the tickle. Yeah, but I'm so excited to be here with you. And like, yeah, let's chat about whatever story you would like. I do have some good struggle stories. They always end up on the good side though. It's always worth it in the end,
That's why we're here to struggle. We're here to find meaning and purpose. And that is, right, to live is to struggle. So if we're not looking for meaning and purpose, we're not living.
For sure. For sure.
All right. So head over to our main episode with Martha Aviles. I'm going to get it. And we'll see you there.